Hey, yo, what's up, YouTube, man? It's your boy, Ashton Jackson, and in today's video, man, I'm going to be talking about my coaching expectations for the Dallas Cowboys. Coaching staff from um, head coach, OC, DC, offensive line coach. I have many different expectations for mainly more of the core guys that are on the coaching staff. So, again, basically three of them: head coach, OC, DC. I have expectations for those guys. If we're able to put expectations on the players, we need to put expectations on the coaches because a lot of times players can make the plays, coaches not putting them in situations to ball out, but there's also situations where coaches put the players in situations to make a play. Sometimes they can't. So again, that's why it's a team sport. It's the ultimate team sport. So before we hop into the video, I would appreciate if you guys like the video, subscribe if you're new, comment, and share my video with anyone who you think will enjoy my content. The first sign and indication that things could possibly change around here, in my opinion, and is a very small, minute detail, but I think it's something that needs to be addressed. In my opinion, I believe that the Dallas Cowboys, the starters, should be playing preseason. Now, what do I mean by that? Should they be playing preseason? I think the formula for preseason for me is very simple. I I know we play Baltimore Ravens, the Falcons, and we play the Rams. That's not in order. We go Rams, Falcons, Baltimore. But for me, I need the starters to play preseason. I'm gonna list a couple of reasons why. The number one reason why I feel like the starters should start preseason is because if Andy Reid is allowing the face of the league, Patrick Mahomes, to play football, there's no reason why any other starters should be sitting. If a starter is going through some sort of nagging injury, that's different. If one of our players, God forbid, knock on wood, if nobody's dealing with any sort of major injury, you should be playing. Why should they be playing? Because we have a new offense starting, and I don't need any mishaps versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Not just because we're playing Philly September 4th, and that's the first NFL regular season game that's going to happen. I need the ball to be rolling. There's no reason as to why a lot of people were clowning, including me, were clowning Mike McCarthy and how it's like, hey, you're really good. We have an all-pro quarterback in 2023, and then in 2024 it looks god awful. There's no reason why it looks like you're running just hitches and slants. You turn upfield and turn it around, and you have this simplistic offense. You're running a 2002 West Coast offense as opposed to look at what you were running after players and coaches had to cuss you out after that San Francisco game to switch up your game. And then with help of Brian Schottenheimer, and the offense got clicking, and Dak Prescott was, according to the NFL, the second best quarterback that year. So I believe the starters should play. The formula on how the starters should play is as simple as this. When you play at LA or you play in Dallas, wherever you play the Rams, week one, it should be, or game one, I'm sorry, it should be you play, the starters get a series. Whatever the drive might happen. If they go 3-and-out, they go 3-and-out. If they score and they get 3 points or 7 points, great for them. Starters go sit down, and backups, they come in for the rest of the game. Second game, when you play Atlanta, starters get a quarter. You play a quarter. Whatever happens in the quarter, what happens in the quarter. In the quarter, I'm sorry. And then you move into that third preseason game. You play a half of football, and you let the backups and you let the second string players take the other half of the football game. So that's how I would handle and do preseason, in my opinion, if I was Brian Schottenheimer. Now, I know some people are going to say injuries. Injuries can happen any single given time. Somebody can get hurt next week in training camp. Prayerfully not, but it can happen. It happened with Deron Bland last year. He stepped wrong. The last practice before going back to Frisco, he was out for 6 to 8 weeks. There's been plenty of times where players across the league, think about Christian McCaffrey in 2020, he's working out. Bam, he's out for the season. He's out for, they have to put him on IR. And then think about what Deshaun Watson did before what happened to the downfall or the slight change in his career, as opposed to when he first got drafted in 2017. It was a Sunday prior of him getting injured. On that Sunday, he lit up the Legion of Boom. That Monday or Tuesday, they have a practice. He tears his ACL in practice. So anything can happen with these players. Injuries are going to happen. Yes, I understand that we're trying to avoid them, but there's no reason as to why players should be sitting out, especially since we have questions at the running back one spot. I need to know Javonte Williams, Miles Sanders, Deuce Vaughn, Jaden Blue, anybody, Phil Maffa, anybody that is part of that running back room, practice squad included, should not be sitting down. There has nobody that has earned a spot. I understand you can earn it through training camp, but I need to see it in live game and live action, in my opinion. And then also we have doubts about nose tech. We have doubts about cornerback two. We as a cornerback room in a whole, we have a question about Kyrie Elam, who's going to start opposite on the outside on the boundary of Elam. And then I want to see Deron Bland. Does he look back to himself? Is he confident in his foot? Is he willing to make those plays? Is he willing to be more physical? Because he was dealing with, forgot what the exact injury was. But we need to be playing preseason because we cannot be stale September 4th versus the Philadelphia Eagles. And also leading into my second point, everyone we're heading into this time where, again, everything sounds good. Everything is, we're going to motion, we're going to shift, we're going to motion twice within the same play. We're going to motion this player across the formation, motion that player across the formation, trying to get a disadvantage. That sounds great. But I need to see it in the preseason. I need to see it in the regular season. If we do everything right and we stay healthy, I need to see it in the postseason. I do understand that people are going to say, well, you don't want to run all your plays. Look, there are NFL teams that got playbooks the size of the sources. They got, and for me, from what I'm thinking, if you're an elite play caller, I think you should have a preseason. Well, hey, this is what the plays we've been running in camp. This is what these are plays that we're probably never going to run again. Let's run them versus these three opponents. Regular season comes, September 4th comes, we're going to run these plays, we're going to get this, we're going to get that look, we're going to do this based off of what we saw in the preseason, based off of what we see that Philly was able to do in this style of offense, so on and so forth, right? And then postseason, you should have a different playbook. Everything should not look the same. Yes, we're going to have similar concepts, but the plays should not be looking the same. You know what I mean? So, I think we should have separate playbooks for separate sections of the season, which I believe that's what great play callers do. I know that's what Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan, just think about all the legendary play callers in the past. That's what they've been able to do. Bill Belichick, widely known, he'll run something against you when you first played him week 8. He might see you wild card or a divisional round weekend or the Super Bowl or championship game. It's a completely different type of defense that he's playing. So, ask Sean McVay what he saw when he had to play against Bill Belichick in his first Super Bowl appearance as a head coach, right? My third point, talking about Clayton Adams and Connor Riley. Connor Riley, I need this again. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. Clayton Adams, you've had some really bad offensive lines that you had to take care of in terms of draft status wise, in terms of actual level of talent. You've had worse, right? Right now, 4 of your 5 offensive linemen, they're all first round picks or they're top 75, top 80 selected players. You have Tyler Smith, all pro. You got Tyler Booker, going to be a really good player and promising player. You got Cooper Beebe, who got drafted and selected in the 3rd round. He should have been a 2nd round player, in my opinion, but he still got drafted day 2, all the less. You got Tyler Guyton. He's going to get better. And then you got Terrence Steele, who got a contract extension and looked very, very good prior. When he had a really good and outstanding all-pro right guard, that's when Terrence Steele was last at his best. So I need Connor Riley, Clayton Adams to work y'all magic and get this offensive line respectable again. But all that to be said, I need this run game to be respectable. Defenses and defensive coordinators have no chance but to play too high. You have no chance. Yeah, you have no options. You don't want to leave 1-on-1 with CD Pickens. You don't want to put a slow-footed linebacker or a safety that can't cover on Jake Ferguson. You just don't want to do that. And then our third wide receiver being Kevontae Turpin, Jonathan Mingo, Jalen Tolbert, whatever the case might be. We can mess y'all up. But I don't want to be that team that we have to throw the ball 50, 60 times because we have no other option. I'd rather it just be because people just won't put their stuff on the table and they just feel like they're bigger and badder. And if you want to throw the ball 50, 60 times, Clayton Adams, Brian Schottenheimer, just for the F of it, go do it. But I need to have a run game come the second week of January, third week of January, the last Sunday of January, when we're playing in those cold games in December, when we're having to go to Washington for Christmas, playing the DMV during Christmas when it gets a little bit chilly outside, when we're having to play all these teams and we're playing these tougher opponents and these playoff opponents, I would rather run the ball than not. You know what I mean? I don't want the same old. All you gotta do against the Dallas Cowboys is run too high, damn near run up, man up 3 deep, because prevent. Just play a prevent style defense. They can throw all the ball. They can throw how many times as they want. We just don't. We don't fear and we don't respect their run game. I cannot have that. That cannot be the tale of this season, in my opinion. I know what we're going to do from a prolific standpoint, throwing the ball. Dak Prescott's going to throw for 4,000 yards. He's going to get 30-plus touchdowns through the air and on the ground. We know that already. That's a given. He's done it before when he's healthy with lesser talent at wide receiver. I just need what we have on the outside. I need that to culminate and to coincide with a really good run game for the Dallas Cowboys to have a successful season on the offense side of the football and just overall as a team. Matt Eberflus, I don't think Matt Eberflus has to reinvent anything. I think Matt Eberflus is going to he's going to need help from his players, from his front office, and from when the players that do come back, DeMarvin Overshown, Savon Revel, Trayvon Diggs, corner, guys getting healthy and staying healthy. But Matt Eberflus, I need him to keep that trend of stopping the run, being a top 10 defense in terms of stopping the run. I really need the Dallas Cowboys to stop the run, because if it's just a copy and paste of last year where teams are able to run the ball on us, they're able to attack a certain side, an edge of the football, an edge of the defense. They're able to attack that corner because he can't cover. But I will be sick to my stomach if we have more than one game this season where a quarterback only has to throw the ball less than 15 times and they beat us by 30. We're going to have some serious conversations if that happens again. If that happens again where we can't run the ball because we can't get certain guys the ball when we need them to, it's going to be an overall cussing that everybody's going to get from me if that happens multiple times throughout the season, where somebody can only throw the ball 15 times and they beat us by 30. I just cannot go down like that this year. Obviously, the front office is going to have to help Matt Eberflus in helping him stop the run. We need a real one tech. I would love to get a DJ Reader, but I just think that I think they're fine with the nose tech position until something serious happens. That's how it always is in this organization. It isn't until the house is on fire for them to finally realize that they left the stove on, or they're laying. It takes too long for the Dallas Cowboys to finally realize what they messed up on. It back room's gonna look like. I have an inclination. I have something to think about. I don't think this running game, this running back is really going to take it to the next level. But I do think with the scheme, with the offensive line, we're going to be fine. I think we can live with our running back room if our offensive line is what it's made to be, and if our run game is that legit. What you can't live without in this league, if you can't stop the run, you're not going anywhere. You might be able to survive throughout the regular season. We saw that. We went 12-5 3 straight years in a row, and we go play San Francisco or Green Bay or whoever, and we can't stop the run. So we've seen that before. You can survive sometimes in the regular season if you get the lead, you let your pass rushers go pass rush, your cornerbacks stay healthy, take the ball away. That's easy. You can do that in the regular season. But when the game slows down in the postseason, you can't do that. So Matt Eberflus is going to, again, if you stop the run, everything else will figure itself out. And then last but not least, I think this is an overall coaching standpoint. We're going to find out if Brian Schottenheimer is neutered or not. And we're also going to find out, how well can we scheme and how well can we coach? If the better guy needs to play in every situation, no matter if you're playing for a politicking team like the Dallas Cowboys or whatever the case might be, the better guy needs to play. But since we know how the NFL and how things go, if one guy's being paid $15 million a year and you're getting paid $500,000 a year, the guy that's getting paid that millions of dollars, he's playing over $500,000 man every single time, no matter if the $15 man is hurt, that's different. But the better guys need to be playing. If not, that's fine. We need to find ways that the better guy gets on the field and makes an impact somehow in some way in a game, is my opinion. The better guy always needs to play, but if we're not going to play the better guy, I need that better guy. Or if not the better guy, I need the guy that we are politicking against. I need him to make sure that he's playing at his best. So that's why the better guy, we can forget about him. Or the better guy is just going to be like, hey, the starter he was just consistent enough. He just didn't mess up enough for me to step out on the field. So those are my 5 things that I need the coaching staff to do. Really, we need to play preseason. If Andy Reid is having the face of the league, Patrick Mahomes play preseason, there's no reason why anybody should not be playing preseason, especially when the Chiefs are playing 22, 23 NFL games a year, because they're at least playing the AFC Championship, Super Bowl every other year. So there should be no excuses. The offense has to be rolling. I do not want us to be the team that we're starting out slow. We play hitters. We play real killers on our schedule. I can't figure it out by Green Bay and Chicago to be like, oh, hey, here goes the Cowboys we know and love. I can't wait till week 4 to figure that out. We have to get it done week 1. This run game needs to be respectable. That relies on Schottenheimer, Adams, Connor Riley. I need those guys to step up. Matt Eberflus, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. If you stop the run, everything else will figure itself out. Last but not least, the better guys need to play. And if the better guy is sitting down and the person that is taking his spot because of financial reasons, he needs to be able to look respectable as to why he's starting. So that's about it for the video. Hopefully you guys have a nice day. Stay safe, stay blessed. Bye.